If a woman asks you this, sex is secretly more important than anything else. Most men think women talk directly about sex when it's on their minds. Wrong. The truth is, women hide their desires in seemingly innocent questions, questions that secretly reveal when sex matters more to them than anything else. Stick around, because the final question exposes her deepest craving in a way that will completely change how you read her forever. If you're new, we give daily dating advice for men. Comment below with your opinion and hit subscribe to keep growing. 1. Do you think physical chemistry matters more than emotional connection? When she asks you this, it sounds like a philosophical discussion, like she's just trying to explore ideas. But here's the hidden layer. Women don't ask about physical chemistry unless it's already on their mind, and usually because it's been on fire. It's like someone asking, do you think spicy food is important in a meal? Right after they've been craving hot wings all week. That question didn't come out of nowhere. It's driven by a hunger. When a woman frames it as a debate, what she's really doing is measuring you. She's subtly checking, are you the kind of man who values the things she secretly values most? If you lean in and say something like, oh no, emotional connection is all that matters, she'll smile politely. But internally, a piece of her turns off, because you've just told her you don't prioritize the spark that she's obsessed with. And here's the kicker. When she asks this question, she's not really looking for an answer. She's looking for permission. Permission to let herself lean into her desire without feeling judged. If you pass this test, her walls come down, because you've signaled that you understand her unspoken truth. Physical connection is her non-negotiable. 2. Would you still want me if something about me changed, like my body or my vibe? This one sounds like insecurity, but don't be fooled. On the surface, it's a tender, vulnerable question. Underneath, it's a pressure check. Here's what most guys miss. When a woman brings up her body or her vibe, she's not fishing for compliments. She's probing to see how deeply your desire runs. Because for her, sex isn't just about the act itself. It's about feeling that pull, that raw magnetism, that makes everything else in the relationship feel alive. If you answer in a flat, predictable way, of course I'd still want you no matter what, you've missed the point. To her, that sounds safe, but safe doesn't equal passion. Safe feels like a polite handshake when she's craving a lightning bolt. When she asks this, what she really wants to hear isn't words at all. It's the energy behind your response. If your tone drops, if your eyes lock on hers like you're barely holding yourself back, she'll feel it in her bones. That's when she knows. Sex isn't just important to her, it's the heartbeat of what you two share. Think of it this way. She's giving you a loaded question, and how you respond tells her whether you understand the game she's actually playing. 3. Do you ever think about us in that way? The vague question with sharp edges. Notice how she doesn't specify what that way means? That's intentional. By leaving it open, she's inviting you to define the frame. If you play it cool, shrug, and say, what way? You'll watch her face light up, because now you've turned the tables. But if you fumble, over-explain, or nervously laugh it off, you've just given her the answer she didn't want, that you're not reading between the lines. When she uses that way, she's secretly talking about desire, about moments she's imagined but won't dare describe outright. It's her way of throwing a spark near dry kindling, waiting to see if you ignite. Here's why this matters. Women rarely ask this unless sex has been occupying more mental real estate than she's comfortable admitting. She's testing whether you feel it too. And if you do, the smartest thing you can do is meet her in that unspoken space, where words don't matter as much as the tension you create in the silence between them. 4. Why do you think some couples lose the spark? This one seems like an innocent general relationship question. But notice the wording. She didn't ask why people fight or why relationships fail. She specifically said, the spark. That single word tells you everything. It's not trust she's worried about, or shared goals, or family values. It's whether the electric charge of desire can survive the grind of everyday life. When a woman brings this up, she's really saying, I need that feeling more than anything, and I'm terrified of losing it. She's gauging whether you're the type of man who treats sexual energy like a living thing you have to feed, rather than a bonus feature you enjoy when it's convenient. If you answer with cliches like, oh, communication is key, you'll miss her entirely. She doesn't want a therapist. She wants a co-conspirator, someone who knows that keeping the spark alive is a shared obsession. The irony? Most men think this question is just casual conversation, but if you listen closely, you'll hear the tremor underneath. A woman admitting, without actually admitting, that for her, sex is the glue holding everything else together. 5. Do you notice how people look at us when we're out together? This is where it gets tricky. At first glance, it might sound like she's fishing for reassurance or bragging about the attention you two get. But if you listen carefully, this question has nothing to do with strangers, and everything to do with how you see her. When she asks this, she's really saying, I want to feel like we radiate heat. She wants to know if the way you desire her is visible to the outside world, if other people can sense the private, magnetic current between you two. It's primal. Think of ancient tribes dancing around a fire, displaying their strength to neighboring clans. In her mind, when people look at you together and sense that undeniable sexual energy, it signals that she's chosen a man whose passion commands the room. If you shrug it off or say, oh, I don't really notice, she'll feel an invisible door slam shut inside her. But if you lean close and whisper something only she can hear, something that makes her pulse race, you've just confirmed what she was hoping. That to you, sex isn't just private pleasure. It's a force that shapes how the world sees you both. 6. Would you still want me if we couldn't, This one's deceptively simple. It sounds like a hypothetical about love versus lust, but deep down, it's a confession wrapped in a test. Here's the truth most men never catch. She doesn't actually want you to say yes. If you say you'd still want her without that physical side, she'll thank you. But a small part of her will quietly mourn. Because what she's really asking is, am I the woman who sets you on fire? Not the woman you respect, or admire, or find nice? The woman who makes your pulse quicken at the mere thought of her. If you say, of course I'd still want you, it sounds noble. But in her heart, she hears, I'd settle for you even if there was no fire left. And settling is the death of desire. The better move isn't about words at all. It's about the way you look at her while you answer. If your gaze tells her that the very idea of not having that physical connection is unthinkable, you've given her the real answer she craves, the one she'll never admit out loud. 7. Do you think other women ever notice you like that? Jealousy disguised as curiosity. Most guys assume this question is about competition or insecurity, but that's only the surface layer. When she asks this, what she's really trying to measure is how much other women feel your sexual energy. Because if other women sense it, it validates her own obsession with it. It's like being at a concert and realizing everyone else is vibing to the same song you love. Suddenly your feelings don't seem so extreme. This question also carries a subtle challenge. She's checking whether you're aware of your own allure. If you brush it off like, nah, I don't think anyone notices me, she'll secretly deflate. Because to her, a man who's oblivious to his own magnetism is like a Ferrari driver who never takes the car out of first gear. But if you acknowledge it with a calm, knowing smile, without arrogance, you're telling her, yes, others might notice, but the connection we have burns hotter than anything else. That's when she realizes sex isn't just important to her. It's the axis her entire attraction spins around. 8. What's the wildest thing you've ever thought about doing with someone? This question is a doorway, not just to fantasies, but to how deeply she prioritizes sexual exploration. If she's asking this, it's because her mind has been wandering into territory she's not ready to admit openly. By framing it as a question about you, she gives herself plausible deniability. If things get too intense, she can laugh it off and say she was just curious. But here's the secret. She doesn't actually care what your specific answer is. What she's really listening for is how freely you speak about desire. If you hesitate, censor yourself, or treat the topic like something shameful, she'll feel a subtle disconnect. Because for her, this isn't just fun conversation. It's a test of compatibility at the deepest level. Women who ask this question are revealing something crucial. For them, sex isn't just about pleasure. It's about identity. It's the one place they want to feel completely free, completely alive. If you meet her in that space without judgment, you become the rare man who truly sees her, and that changes everything. 9. Do you ever just feel it out of nowhere? This one sounds random, almost like she's talking about mood swings or intuition. But listen carefully to the way she says feel it. That phrase isn't about feelings like sadness or happiness. It's about physical energy, the kind that sneaks up on you when you're alone, when a certain song plays, or when a memory flashes in your mind. When a woman asks this, she's revealing something highly personal. That desire hits her like a wave she can't control. It's not planned. It's not logical. It just takes over. Why does she ask you? Because she wants to know if you experience it too. If you understand that primal rush that has nothing to do with words or context. If you respond with a literal answer like, yeah, sometimes I just randomly think about work stress, she'll mentally check out. But if you pause, let a slow smile spread across your face and simply say, I know exactly what you mean. She'll feel seen in a way she didn't expect. This is powerful because she's not just talking about sex anymore. She's talking about being overtaken by it. And when she realizes you feel that same current, you become the one person she can fully surrender that secret part of herself to. 10. Why do you think people cheat? On the surface, this looks like a classic morality question. But look closer. She didn't ask why people lie or why people hurt each other. She zeroed in on cheating, which is almost always driven by unmet desire. When a woman brings up this topic, it's rarely about abstract theory. She's really asking, could you understand the kind of hunger that makes someone cross a line? It's her way of exploring her own boundaries without exposing them outright. Most men will rush to the safe, predictable answer. Oh, people cheat because they're bad or selfish or weak. And while that might sound noble, it instantly closes the door on a much deeper conversation. The better move is to acknowledge the raw truth, that when passion dies, people seek it elsewhere. Not because they stop loving someone, but because they can't live without that electric charge. By doing this, you're signaling to her that you get it, that you understand sex isn't a luxury, it's a need. And once she knows you see it that way, she'll start to see you as the one man who won't let that fire go out. 11. Do you think we're too much? The whisper question. She won't say it loudly. She'll drop it in the quiet moments, maybe late at night when her guard is down. When a woman asks this, she's not really talking about drama or conflict. She's talking about intensity, the kind of intensity that burns so bright it scares her a little. In her world, people often tell her to tone it down, to keep her passion neatly packaged so it doesn't make others uncomfortable. But with you, she doesn't want to hold back. She wants to know if you can handle all of her, the tenderness, the chaos, and yes, the raw physical hunger that drives it all. If you reassure her with something flat like, no, we're fine, she'll feel like you don't fully see her. But if you lean closer and tell her, no, we're exactly enough, you've just told her something bigger, that you crave that too much feeling as much as she does. And for a woman whose deepest need is to be desired without limits, that answer hits like lightning. 12. Do you think about what it would be like if we weren't us? This sounds like a breakup question at first, and most men panic when they hear it. But don't be fooled. This isn't about leaving. It's about imagination. When she asks this, she's really saying, I think about our connection so much that I wonder what it would feel like if it were forbidden. It's a secret fantasy, wrapped in a harmless hypothetical. Women who bring this up are admitting something they'd never say directly, that sex isn't just physical for them, it's psychological. It's about the thrill of what couldn't happen, finally happening. If you rush to reassure her, no, I'd never want anyone else, you shut down the very spark she's trying to feed. Instead, meet her in that fantasy space. Say something like, if we weren't us, I think I'd be losing my mind wanting you. Now you've given her the forbidden flavor she was craving, and she'll never forget how you made her feel in that moment. 13. Do you think other couples are as close as we are? This question isn't about comparison the way it seems. It's about exclusivity. She's not just asking if you're compatible. She's asking if the physical charge between you is rare, or if it's just average. Here's the thing. Women don't want to feel like they're part of a template. They want to believe what they share with you is so uniquely intense that no one else could possibly replicate it. If you answer casually like, yeah, I'm sure other couples are happy too, she'll feel a flicker of disappointment. But if you lock eyes and say, no one could have what we have, you've given her what she truly needed. Proof that your desire for her is singular. And here's why this matters. When a woman feels like the bond she has with you is one of a kind, she'll protect it fiercely. She won't just prioritize sex, she'll treat it like sacred ground. 14. Do you think passion fades or evolves? This is the question that reveals everything. It's disguised as a thoughtful, mature discussion about long-term relationships. But underneath, it's a plea. She's not asking about passion in general. She's asking if your desire for her will still be alive years from now. She's asking if you see sex as a flame that needs tending, or as something that inevitably burns out. Most men answer with a practical, logical response. Oh, it evolves. It's natural for things to calm down over time. But that's exactly what she fears. To her, evolving is just a polite way of saying settling. The rare answer, the one that electrifies her, is this. No, it doesn't fade. It changes shape, but it stays just as intense. When you say this with conviction, you've done more than soothe her fear. You've shown her that to you, sex isn't a phase or a perk. It's the pulse of the relationship itself. And once she believes you see it that way, she'll invest in keeping that pulse alive, forever. 15. Do you think about me when I'm not around? At first glance, this seems like a simple, sweet question. But don't let its softness fool you. It's not about whether you miss her or think she's cute. When a woman asks this, what she really wants to know is whether her presence lingers in your mind the same way your touch lingers on her skin. She's checking if the sexual energy between you is powerful enough to echo even in absence. If you answer with a vague, "Yeah, of course," you've given her nothing. But if you describe a specific moment, the way her scent clung to your hoodie, or how you couldn't focus because you kept replaying last night, she'll feel it in her bones. Now she knows the truth. She doesn't just matter to you emotionally. She consumes you physically, even when she's miles away. And that realization, it cements her belief that sex is more than a priority. It's the language your entire connection is written in. 16. Do you think I'm too much for other men? This question isn't about arrogance or insecurity. It's about self-protection. Deep down, she knows her level of desire, her appetite for passion, can overwhelm men who aren't built for it. She's probably been told in past relationships that she's too needy or too intense. So when she asks you this, she's really asking, are you the rare man who won't just handle me, but crave me exactly as I am? If you hesitate or try to balance the answer with diplomacy, she'll feel like you're one of the many who secretly think she's too much. But if you give her a steady, unflinching gaze and say, "You're perfect for me," you've given her what no one else has. Freedom. Freedom to be fully alive, fully sexual, fully herself, without apology. Once she feels that safety with you, she'll never want to go back to holding herself back again. 17. Do you ever feel like we're breaking the rules? This is the final, most revealing question. It may seem playful, almost like she's joking about sneaking around or doing something mischievous, but the truth is, this is her way of admitting the rawest part of herself. When a woman asks this, she's confessing that your connection feels almost dangerous, like it shouldn't exist, like it's too powerful for the ordinary world. She doesn't just want sex to be important. She wants it to feel forbidden, even when it's perfectly allowed. This isn't about guilt, it's about thrill. The thrill of knowing that what you two share isn't tame or polite or safe. It's the kind of passion that bends rules, breaks patterns, and leaves her breathless. If you downplay it, she'll feel like you don't understand the magnitude of what she's feeling. But if you lean in and say, "Good, rules were never meant for us," you've given her the ultimate permission to surrender completely to her desire for you. At that point, there's no going back. She's no longer just a woman who enjoys sex. She's a woman who sees sex as the very foundation of your bond, the thing she'll fight to protect above all else. Up next, discover what a woman does when nervous but sexually into you, or learn the psychological signs she has a high sex drive.